I'm Phil Pinarski. Our top story tonight. I'm Phil Pinarski, and this is the Marquette Minute. Are you tired of homecoming week yet? Of course you're not. Head to the Owl to watch the women's volleyball team. Cheer on the ladies and stay in your seat because Marquette Madness will begin immediately following the game. Get your first look at the men's and women's basketball teams. And then after that, Late Night Marquette begins with a headphone disco and a showing of Space Jam. The Annex will be hosting Pop Quiz starting at 9 p.m. tonight. Gather your team and stay on your toes in order to secure a top 3 placement. The top 3 winners will receive Marquette cash prizes. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. As always, check out the Marquette Wire's website for more campus news and events. I'm Phil Pinarski, and I will see you all again tomorrow for another minute of your time. Welcome to the National Bobblehead Museum and Hall of Fame. I'm joined by Phil Sklar. He is the co-founder of the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum. Phil, how are you doing today?
Doing great. How are you?
Good. All right. So we're going to kind of take you guys on a tour of what you guys can expect if you guys do decide to come out. My first question for you, Phil, is as we're sort of walking and talking, how many bobbleheads do you have exactly in this museum and Hall of Fame? Is there a Matt LaFleur one on its way?
There might be, yeah. We'll have to see about that. There might be Cody Parkey. That could be a popular one here.
All right, Phil. So where are you guys located right now? You guys recently moved locations, correct?
Yep. So we just opened last Friday in this location. This is our permanent home. We're at 170 South 1st Street above Stacked Burger Bar and Collectivo, which a lot of people are familiar with, right at the edge of Walker's Point in the 3rd Ward. Really excited about the location. We're partnering with Stacked, so people that come and visit us get a discount there, and we're excited to be a part of the community.
Okay, and what's the one thing you would tell people to come on down?
I think it's just a fun time. There's nowhere else in the world you're going to see this many bobbleheads. It's a one-of-a-kind museum, and it's exciting. There's a lot of different exhibits, too, so, not just the bobbleheads, but there's a lot of stories behind individual bobbleheads. You'll learn a lot about the history of not just bobbleheads, but of some of the people who are depicted in bobblehead form.
Okay. All right, awesome, Phil. Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us on Facebook Live. Life is full of embarrassing moments, and nobody knows that more than the first-year students here at Marquette. Only time will tell if these moments are a one-time thing or if it's going to be a long year for the freshmen. From Central Mall, I'm Phil Pinarski, Marquette Wire Entertainment. All right, 2 more states have announced winners. Louisiana has a grand total of 8 electoral votes. Those will be going to Donald Trump, bringing his total to 136. Meanwhile, over on the East Coast, Connecticut, with 7 electoral votes, has gone to Hillary Clinton, bringing her total to 104. Now, going into the Wisconsin side of things, Clinton has a narrow lead with just 12% of the votes being reported right now. She has 190,406 votes compared to Donald Trump's 164,998 votes. Now let's send it back up to Kennedy and Andrew upstairs. MUSG hosted a self-defense training class here at the Union Sports Annex. Captain Ruth Peterson of MUPD led the class with a little help of some of these. If you were not able to make it tonight, don't worry. There's another training session February 20th at the AMU. The session is for all Marquette students, faculty, and staff. From the Union Sports Annex, I'm Phil Pinarski, MUTV News. A big few days for sports in Wisconsin. Playoff banners are now up outside Miller Park. The Brewers host their first playoff game in 7 years tomorrow, taking on the Colorado Rockies. Delaney Bry on how the crew is keeping Colorado guessing. 2 students at Arrowhead High School are in the hospital after being hit by a car. The Waukesha County Sheriff's Office says the driver who hit them was a fellow student. Their injuries are significant. No other details have been released. Late this afternoon, jurors got to hear from one of Chris Zacco's former girlfriends. She described the relationship as one in which Zacco was the dominant partner and she was submissive. The Milwaukee mother now charged with homicide and child neglect. Police were called Sunday for a sudden death of a 2-year-old girl near 72nd and Carmen. The criminal complaint alleges Lisa Simmons held her daughter in a tub of scalding hot water for several minutes, resulting in severe burns. Simmons told investigators she did not take the child to the hospital because she had an open case with Child Protective Services. New at 6, 2 suspects behind bars after they led deputies on a chase through Kenosha County. Pete Zervakis explains how it concluded. Crews in North Carolina spent the overnight hours searching for Maddox Rich. He's the 6-year-old boy with autism who vanished over the weekend. His parents say he was last seen Saturday afternoon after running away from his father and another adult at the park. The FBI is offering a $10,000 reward for information that can help with the hunt.
Most police departments are going to something like this.
MUPD has just announced the implementation of a new practice on campus in hopes to protect the lives of students.
It's something just to allow people a safe way to dispose of prescription drugs.
Due to the large number of opioid-related deaths across the country, Marquette has teamed up with Dose of Reality, a program to eliminate the availability of painkillers to those who do not need them. This partnership, in the words of Lieutenant Joe Irwin, is
Giving people who have the drugs that, they're not using them anymore, they had an injury, they're past it now, they have some leftover medication, it's allowing them to dispose of it, in a safe way so nobody else gets their hands on it.
How many people do you know have a crystal skull in their office?
Dr. Brian Peterson, Milwaukee County's chief medical examiner, thinks that in order to decrease the number of overdoses, the important thing is to get them out of the reach of those looking to abuse them.
Well, the number that you conventionally see is that of people that are currently opioid addicts, some 80% got their start with prescription meds that they either took, bought, or stole from somebody else.
But will this completely solve the epidemic?
But we're talking about a long-term ripple. We may see fewer deaths because of actual medication, but we're going to see more and increasing deaths due to illegitimate things like heroin and fentanyl. That's what we've been seeing this year, and I see that continuing into the future. Put it this way, I think probably being an opioid addict is kind of like being an alcoholic. You have to actually try the substance before you find out that you're going to be an addict. So you could be an alcoholic, but if you've never had a drink, you're not going to know.
Despite Peterson's claim, MUPD is going to do all it can to help.
Anything to try to curb the availability of opioid-based drugs, getting out into the hands of people that shouldn't have them, I think that's a good thing.
In Milwaukee, I'm Phil Pinarski, Marquette Wire News. A sea of protesters gathered in opposition of President-elect Donald Trump at Red Arrow Park and marched through the streets of downtown Milwaukee Thursday night.
It's the system that put Trump in power.
Marquette students also participated in the demonstration.
We're not going to sit quietly and let other people harass others based on any number of things. We just want everyone to know that we care about them and will protect them. We have the right to protest and free speech, so I figured why not use it, especially when a lot of us are upset about the same thing.
Protesters walked from Water Street to Wisconsin Avenue and made their way to the BMO Harris Bradley Center before returning to Red Arrow Park. Reporting for MUTV News, I'm Phil Pinarski.